took out last week's high in the pre-market here. Seems like maybe we'll spike to the 282 area and then we'll see what happens. Selling pressure. We want to see what happens at 280.80.
As expected, the UK white paper suggests there should be
right here. So these are the two spots I'd be looking at. 280.80 to 280.60 really. I'm sure some people, I'd have an alert at 281 though to see these there. We're at 281 when London opens, so see if we can get a retest there on the open or sometime later in the day. My thoughts on this 280 for a while, I think I haven't talked about this in a week or maybe more, is we would get somewhere above 280, maybe 282, 283, and then fail. And then get some sort of pullback below 280, maybe back down to 277, 278. Top out. Come down hard in this area. Get the retest. We can go test the all-time high, something like that. I'm keeping an eye out for that. IWM. Right now we are above 169 in the pre-market. Failed a couple of weeks ago up here, 169.80. I've just been stepping up every day for about 5-6 trading days. This yesterday morning it was the 168. Spike below it, right on the open. Spike again, shallower spikes, another spike, and finally a little ignition bar right here above 168.50. Tested the resistance from the prior day and failed. So it should act as support now. We'll watch to see if this acts as support. 169 to 169.20. All right. Obviously, we are in the thick of earnings season now, so there's literally dozens, if not hundreds, of companies reporting. I do my best to do a mix of liquid stocks, names that I have a pretty good history of intraday trading, and stocks that at least most people can put trades in for their risk tolerance. Sometimes things don't make the cut, so there's a lot going on. So, Triple M. So last time we looked at this, last quarter it gapped down to 206. Went all the way down to 192 over the next few days. Bounced up, failed, bounced up, failed, failed. And today, we are gapping down again on seemingly it wasn't that bad, the number, considering how much it came off last quarter already, considering how much it's off the high, which is here. This is an interesting setup for potential bounce. You got to go all the way back to a year, 15 months ago, to when it first got up here. So looks like maybe it bounced a little bit already in the pre-market. Let's take a look. We're on the conference call right now. Okay, so we touched 94. Hasn't really bounced much, but a little bit. Obviously, the conference call wasn't going well. So initial reaction was here. The numbers weren't really bad, so this was kind of expected. In the conference call, obviously they're saying stuff that some people don't like. It's been sellers since. Volume came in into the 94 level. What do we have in the sheet? So 93, 94. So we got to go back a couple of weeks ago. And you definitely had people buying it coming into earnings, right? They bought it here at 94 3 days in a row. Popped up to 202. Some people in from higher prices here, above 98. The last 7 days, 8 days or so. Anyway, I would think that even if it flushed through this low here, went all the way to 92, was that the post low from last quarter? Yeah, here. We get some sort of bounce back, especially over the next week or so, back up to 198 to 200. So this is our first resistance area. It's going to be here and here. It's not as clear as a play as what was that one yesterday, Hasbro. You kind of, the numbers were good. You had a level dropped out, and then it rallied up $4 or $5 right away. But if it flushes through 94, not by much, and gets back above 94, and then takes out 94.50, you're playing it for something like this. I probably would take some off at 96 and see what happens. And then if it really gets crushed down to the 92 area, I put some in the long-term account. You go from there. Looks like they're still on the conference call. All right, Lilly. Numbers were good in Lilly. They're spinning off their pet healthcare business, which I think will probably be a big deal in the coming months. It's just become such a huge business in the U.S. It's like 100 million pets or something. It's an expensive stock. It's up a lot. Probably the only thing potentially hurt it. We go back to, I guess it's actually been consolidating for a few years between 90 and 75, so I spent quite a bit of time. And this was the biotech bubble top, was right here. Biotech, I think, came off, what, 30, 40% or something like that. And a few of the strongest have come back to the 2015 highs. Some of them have even maybe taken them out. So this is definitely one of the stronger ones. Compare it to like a Guild or something. It's a Guild isn't anywhere near the high from 2015. Let's compare it to like an Amgen. So Amgen's more similar to Lilly right at the highs. Again, when that sector topped out, the leaders have gotten back up to highs for the strongest stocks. So it's gapping this morning. Not quite to the all-time high from 2015, but close. I think the main thing that's driving the breakout would be the reason I put that in the notes is the IPO spinoff of the animal healthcare business. The numbers, they were fine. They beat. Made us a small raise. You can see already it's come off a couple of dollars. What do we have for support? So we don't have support till down here. $82.60 resistance. I guess that was the prior high. This is how I'm looking at it coming in, is this range right here. Prior high down to 90. I'm happy to play it in either direction. I think if it closes above 92 today, I'd probably be looking for it to make new all-time highs this week. Next one's Hog. Now, Hog's a beaten down stock. The numbers were good. Here's the daily. I feel like they released them maybe by accident during the day, at the end of the day yesterday. I created something there. So this one topped out in 2014. This was a pretty good rally it had back here in about a year and a half ago, from 40 all the way back up to 62. I'm not expecting Trump to tweet about them today, but remember he got into a little bit of a spat with them a month or two ago, and they said they were going to move production overseas. This is probably this move here. And notice, like, initial reaction down, Trump then made some nasty tweets, and then slowly got brought back up. Now, it did come all the way back down and tested 41 coming into earnings. So really the question is 42. So this is for support, and this would be support. If they flush this one at the open, does it get above 43? There's a test recent resistance here. Best case scenario is all the way back up here. So initial reaction was positive. We don't really have enough volume to make much calls here, but buying some at the 42.50 a little bit and kind of seeing how it behaves. Going to come into here, even flush a little through, get back above 43, then I'd start to be real bullish on it. The other bullish scenario is just to go straight up on the open, comes through, gets above 44, shallow pullbacks holding above 44, and we look all the way back here where it topped out in June 22nd, 45.5. So it came from 45.5 down to 40.5 in 2.5 trading days. So Canada erased that move on things they're from saying in the conference call today. DGX. So DGX has gone up a lot the last couple of years. It's up 20% year over year. I think that's probably why it's down. Missing by a penny, and the guidance was in line. They brought the top part of their guidance lower, which means they're saying we're not going to really beat, but we should report in line. If we just look at it over the last 6 months, started buying it here, come all the way back to here, 115. It's actually pretty wild. It went down 90. So when the year opened, it was $99 stock. So this is where we are here. Let me just zoom out a little bit. So we go back to June 8th. It gapped from 108 to, it's actually a pretty small gap, 109. And so that's what I think, that's what I'm focused on for the open. This 109 here, we're going to test it a few times. You can see the wicks on these couple of days here. We're wicked all the way through 108 on June 27th, and then on June 28th. So if they're going to hit it on the open, this is the spot. Did I put that on the sheet? 108, yes I did. And then we'll see. And clearly there's some people long it from 112, 113 and higher over the last couple of weeks coming into earnings. Don't think it would be enough for it to really break through here. So flush to here, then comes back, tests 110. Does it fail at 110 and this becomes the range today? Or does it come back to 110 and get back above there and come into kind of 112? Not really expecting it to get above here. So it's a pretty good range to work with. $1.60 ATR, double that. That gives us, it's about this right here. It's only traded 20,000 shares. It's trading in the 109s right now. Okay, yesterday, Hasbro. Um, couldn't really ask for more than we got in Hasbro yesterday. It dropped pretty much into the scenario we laid out right at the end of talking about in the morning meeting, which was if it dropped the support here, there was nothing till 100. It flushed to 100. And then 5 minutes later, it was back above 102.50. And 15 minutes later, it was back at 104. I think people probably traded in the long side in this tight consolidation here, 106. It did go up $1 before coming back down and retesting and then made a new high. It's really strong. It's probably, in these situations like this, it's not a Momo stack. So probably with some raised price targets in the 115 area or something like that. People are like saying not that much upside, so maybe it flushes a little bit on the open. But where it's trading right now, it shouldn't go much lower. I mean, I guess it could come back down to 104, 104.50, and they could rip it to the upside again, 106, 107. But that's really the issue now, which is really strong yesterday. People are like, how much more upside? That could create a little bit of pressure. So I'd say if it failed at 107.50 on the open, maybe you start to get like a $2-3 range developing. CLF, people did a nice job in the chat staying on top of it. Really good job on the breakout above 11. That's what the chat is really for, is to share levels, share stocks that are important levels, next resistance, next support. People were sharing it right here. It broke above, did the retest, and then went right to the resistance level that we shared in the chat. And then what did it do? It went right back down to where it broke out from. So that's very normal trading for stock intraday. This morning, right back up at resistance again. So the best case scenario for this was it could get to 12. I would still put it at less than 50-50 that it's going to get there today or tomorrow. But if it does, I think you'd see some pretty hard selling from that area. But right now, buyers are still in control unless it gets below, let's say, 1090. And then Microsoft. Microsoft's above 108 this morning. It was a new closing high yesterday, above 108. With the Google news, they walked it up a little bit in the after hours, and it's gapping up with the market. So I think for this one, 108, how it behaves, basically how it behaves in this consolidation area from yesterday. If it flushes down on the open and holds here and then gets above 108.65, assuming that it even has a pullback, that would be pretty bullish. People would be thinking 110 would be the natural. The high from the day of earnings was 109.30. So 109.30 to 110 would be kind of the upside target areas.